Hey man, how are you?
I'm doing great, boss. How are you?
I'm very good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Is,
Cozy
is
spot.
that is that a fake background, or are you really in that landscape?
I'm in a beautiful desert village right now. That's exactly what's happening.
I feel lacking. I need to sort that out.
This is just covering up the mess behind it. This is the real art.
Is that what it is? Okay, I gotcha. Where in the world are you?
I'm in Santa Rosa, California, so I'm about an hour north of San Francisco.
Okay. And you've been
Mhm.
playing in California this week, right?
Yeah. We played Sacramento, San Francisco, and then Fresno was Sunday. So yeah, we had a little 3-day run. Our bassist, who's been in the band for about 10 years, just left the band. So, sad times, George, we love you, but he's off to go get a master's degree. So he's off to bigger and better things. We're happy for him.
Yeah, that's a good excuse, I think.
As good as any.
Yeah. So how were the shows?
Great. It was the first time we've played San Francisco in probably 4 or 5 years. So it was the first real hometown show we've had in quite some time, because a lot of the hometown venues we have over the years have kind of been shut down. So to play a show in San Francisco was awesome. And yeah, it was great. Even Fresno was really cool. The bands, it was a Sunday night, so the turnout's never as good as you want on a Sunday night. But the bands we played with, the Beast and Nod was this really cool band that I'd never heard of before, but they were great. And then it was really great. And there was another band. We don't normally run into other bands with keytars, so the opening band had a keytar player. I think Gwyn Klein was the name of the band. So it's always fun to see other weird artists doing their thing.
So you mentioned it got a little bit emotional for the last date with with him leaving this week. So
yeah, that was definitely rough. I'm definitely a big baby. So after we finished the last set, I gave him a big hug, and I needed to go and kind of let it out a little bit, because I'm the only founding member of the band at this point. So I'm the only one that was there back in 2011 when the band started, but George has been there almost as long. So he's been there since maybe 2013. So it's still 10 years that he's been in the band. And doing this kind of music that we make, really not caring about what the rest of the world thinks. It's a really it's like a real brotherhood I feel like I have with him. And so it is sad to see him leave the band, but again, we love him and he's still our friend and we still see him all the time. So it's going to be okay.
I'm guessing that he played on the new album.
Yes. And that's also why we appreciated him. He really stuck through the whole album making process. He didn't leave us somewhere in the middle with our hands in the air, so he went through and he recorded the whole album and did all the music videos with us. So he did all the good stuff before he said, hey, I gotta go do other things. And we already have a replacement. That announcement hasn't been announced yet, but we do have, we have a lot of great friends in the scene that are going to be joining the band. So we're really excited about that.
And it's not like for a lot of bands, a bass player could quite easily just slot in and do their thing. Mm-hmm. But with you guys, it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's hard for someone to say, I want to be in a band like Cyborg Octopus. It's an interesting group of people that want to dedicate their time to making this music with me. So finding people, it was more like they found us. The people that like the music enough, that are skilled enough to play the music with us, kind of come out of the woodwork. So we're very thankful that the new album's coming out. We're getting just enough attention to get some friends interested in playing with the band, and we've had so many fill-ins over the years. So I really think we're at our highest, our tightest point right now. We're getting as good as we can get.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so Between the Light and Air comes out in 2 weeks today.
Yep.
It's been 6 years since the first album. So what did you learn during the first album process that has helped you with this album?
I think thinking about the songs as a whole has been a great help. The last album, I think we really wanted every single part of each song to be the best part of the song. You know what I mean? We were really trying to stack crazy parts on top of each other. And I think we thought a lot more about how we can make one crazy song instead of individual crazy parts. So I think a lot of these songs fit really well together as songs. You know, I think we're a lot more cohesive than we were in the first album, but we also still have the crazy elements that we've always had. So I think we've just matured, 6 years. You're going to be listening to different music and you're going to be thinking about different things than you were 6 years ago. And so I think that's really the biggest part. We've just grown up a little bit. And we still like to dance though. So the music, we still try to make it as danceable as possible.
We have to talk about cover art with you guys. The cover art for this album is, of course, amazing. Thank you. Tell me about that. Like, what's your process of getting cover art that fits with the music and fits with the whole visual side of what you do?
So once we had all the songs together, I designed or I came up with the mock-ups of what the art should look like. All the art for the last album and this album were mock-ups that I made and gave to artists. So it was pretty much me and other members looking for artists, but I found the last artist and I found this artist. His name is Daniel Bogni from Brazil. Really nice guy. But I love video games. I love video games and I love fantasy worlds. And so when I listen to our music, I can't help but think of like weird fantasy worlds. That's really where my brain goes. And being sort of a traveler. And so that's really what I wanted the art to display. And realistically, it's the traveler, over the course of the album art going up to the pinnacle, right? It's just moving towards that self-actualization. And so making mock-ups, I send those to the artists with kind of the color palettes of the colors I want them to use. So the colors were very deliberate. And the 4 pieces of art that are in the album, we're all using similar colors for that purpose to really express kind of the energy and the evolution of the songs over the course of the album.
Speaking of colors, you're going to be releasing vinyl.
Yeah.
And it's not just black vinyl, and it's not even like one colored vinyl.
Yeah.
Like in this world where vinyl is kind of hard to make, doing all these different colors and various kind of patterns and things like that, is that a challenge these days?
Yeah, and it's why it took so long for the album to come out, to be honest.
Right.
Getting vinyls set up and getting test presses and making sure everything was right, it probably took an extra year. We've had the album for about a year, but getting to this point took a lot of time. So our label does a ton of colored albums. That's kind of one of their things. So we agreed when we were signing with them, we were going to get 3 variants of each album. So we are doing this album Between the Light and Air, but we're also re-releasing our first album on vinyl as well. So both have 3 variants. And yeah, it was fun working with Taylor Bates from Steak Sauce Mustache. He's another band on our label, but he does the graphic design for their label as well. And he helped me a lot in terms of what he thought the company, the factory could do, and what colors should be see-through and which ones should be opaque. So there was a lot of kind of talks about the colors that we were going to pick, and obviously I wanted it to look good with the album cover, so there's also that dynamic as well. But it was a lot of fun. I'm band manager, so a lot of the business decisions go through me, and it's fun to do this stuff. This is the imaginative part for me, because a lot of the band does all the instruments and the creativity on that side, but I really think the vision of the band kind of has to go through me, and I work with all the band to make sure that we're getting it right, and it's a lot of fun for me to work on.
Okay, so the vision for the band, do you remember the vision from the band from day one, what you wanted to achieve?
Well, I think we're very in the moment, and so we're very step by step. So at first it was get out an EP. And then it was, let's write some new songs that are weird, like that are more difficult or more out of the box than the ones that we wrote on that original EP in 2011. Then it was, we wanted to go on tour. So then that's when we went on our first tour in 2014, 2015. Then release a full length. And when it came to releasing the full length, we wanted to take all the best content that we had sitting, and we wanted to make it into a strong album. And so the album order and the songs that were chosen were me and David, who was the original guitarist of the band, who's not in the band anymore. And so with him leaving, it sort of left me as the only de facto kind of authority figure in the band. So I'm kind of band dad in that way. And so now with this album, it was really about just pushing everything that we had done past Learning to Breathe. And I think, again, writing better songs and writing more satisfying music for us was a goal as well. You know, anytime you finish art, you finish whatever you're working on, and immediately you're thinking about doing something better than you did last time. Right. So I think in that way, that's really the goal, is seeing what we did and just knowing that we have more to offer. And so that's why we were really excited that, you know, even though we had membership changes and stuff, the people that are in the band are really passionate about it. And we all just wanted to keep moving forward. So that's what we're always doing.
So you have such a recognizable sound. What kind of music were you listening to growing up?
Everything. My mother is a big fan of disco and R&B and funk. My dad loves, butt rock. He likes Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, all the oldie goodies. But he also likes Disturbed and Korn and stuff like that. So he was really into that. And then I found from a friend of mine in second grade, System of a Down, and System of a Down pretty much changed my whole world upside down. And so that's what I would say is one of the biggest things that I listened to through the years that really got me into metal. And then we everyone in the band likes like pop punk. You know, we all like pop punk and emo music, because that's what we grew up on. That, like, when we were in high school, that's what was getting played on the radio and stuff. So all that was also big in our minds as well. When making the album, we joked that this album has all of our MySpace energy, like all of the energy from that early social media period where anything went, you know, anything was cool to do because it was also fresh and new. I really feel like we tried to channel some of that.
If you could go on tour opening for one band, who would you choose?
Oh, System of a Down for sure. That would be huge. But then System of a Down would need to tour, so that would be awesome. But if not them, probably like Between the Buried and Me or Devin Townsend. We love prog, and we like fan bases that are weird. Also, someone in the band mentioned one time going out with Amon Amarth would be really cool. So like going out with like a Viking metal band would be cool, right? Because, you know, just some bands that have fan bases that are crazy enough to get what we're going for. That's really what would be the awesome part of it.
I just interviewed Amon Amarth a couple of weeks ago, actually. And
oh, nice.
Their album came out last week. So you're releasing albums in the same time frame. So you never know. It could happen.
Yeah. How about you message them for us? let them know we're trying to
we're putting it out into the universe now. So there it is.
Crazy.
And what about you contemporaries? You've mentioned a couple of bands that you played with in California. Who else is exciting musically these days?
So I love Flub. Flub is our, you know, we go back way years. Devils of Loudon is a band on the Artisan era. The Artisan era in general has a lot of great tech death bands, and, you know, we get lumped in with the tech death bands a lot just because, like, the music we make. And we think it's fun to play with those bands that are way shreddier than we are. Also, there's this band out of Philadelphia that I heard just the other day called Parias. And they're a prog band, and they're kind of they're releasing a space prog album in October, and that's like right in my wheelhouse. I love spacey, weird, keyboard driven music, so Parias is really cool as well.
So after this little run of dates, and then the album drops, you have a new bass player, and you're going to be taking this out on the road, right? What's happening for the rest of the year for you guys?
So we are booking a tour in October right now. So one in October, we're going to try to do a quick run with some of the bands on our label, as well as maybe a couple of the bands I recently mentioned in that previous question. And then we're trying to do a big run in February, March of next year. So everything's in plans right now, but the only part of the band I really don't have any involvement in is shows. I just kind of go where they tell me. Every other business part I kind of handle, but when it comes to booking shows, I let the other members of the band kind of take charge on that.
For you, what makes the perfect Cyborg Octopus show?
A good venue, obviously a sound person that is willing to take some feedback from us, because we're with the sax player, we have 2 saxophones and 2 keyboards now live, so it's a lot for one person to level, and so someone that's open to feedback or criticism from us, and then just people that are looking to have a good time. I think the open-minded people is always great, and then just having like diehard metal fans. We love like the truest metal guys with the denim jackets and all the patches, like, because we like to mess with them. We like to play our music and see what they think about what we're doing, and that's a big part of the fun for us, is playing to people that are there for the metal, right? Because we're there for the metal too, but we're also there to have a fun time and kind of make fun of ourselves a little bit. So it's a combination of things that make a great show.
That's it. It feels like you take things very seriously, but at the same time, you don't take things seriously at all.
Yes, I think we take the music seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. We don't think that we're somehow doing something that's never been done, or we're like some world-changing band, but we know that what we make is good and we care about it, so there's other people out there that are going to resonate with it and are going to enjoy it. And so we can take the music very seriously, and we do, but we also don't think we're too cool to look dumb. And I think a lot of metal kind of is worried about that a lot, is like worried about looking dumb or not being cool. And I think sometimes the coolest thing you can do is not care about that stuff. So that's what we try to do.
I've always said that the coolest people don't realize they're cool. And then
you don't need to force it. You don't need to force it, right? So we just make what we like, and the people that are like us will come out and they'll be there. So we just try our hardest at whatever we're doing.
So I have to show you this. Hang on a sec.
Go for it. Hi, everyone that's watching this at this moment.
I'm going to edit that out. So you mentioned about the denim jackets with all the patches on.
Yes.
So when I was like 14, 15, I had one of those, and I would wear it every day, obviously. And it doesn't really fit me anymore, but my wife loved it so much, she insisted I got it framed.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's awesome, man.
You can kind of tell when I grew up from looking at that.
Yeah, some of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, and they kind of glittery, quite a few of them as well. I'm not sure if that's very metal.
No, I think that's extra metal. I think that's really cool. Yeah, the holographic patches. I don't see very much of that.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Congratulations on this new album. It's pretty amazing, and it takes a few listens to kind of work it out, I think. So but awesome. that's part of the process, isn't it, and part of the enjoyment of this kind of music. So congratulations on it. It sounds like everything's moving in the right direction, and I look forward to catching you in a room sometime, hopefully, if you get over here.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve, thank you so much. And again, Between the Light and Air and Learning to Breathe out August 26th. Thank you guys so much, anybody who's watching and listening.
All right, thanks
Steve. Have a good one.